Ford, and I would really like to welcome you all to the Australian Embassy here in Washington, DC. For those of you who I don't know, I am based here in the US. I am working on behalf of the Australian government to build partnerships with digital industry, civil society, academia in response to online harms. I'd like to thank David and All Tech is Human for just a really fantastic partnership that we've been able to form, and in all the work pulling this event together. When David and I first started talking about opportunities to collaborate, I really wanted to focus on youth. Youth, their future, our future, the future of technology are entirely intertwined, and I'm just continually impressed with how enthusiastic and how proactive young people today are in taking a stand for their future. Youth advocates, young people, there is a growing community of people who are dedicated, like every single person in this room, to creating a better tech future, and we want you to be a part of that conversation and the decision making as well. We can no longer think, as I think everyone here can agree, we can no longer think of the online and physical worlds as separate. The digital world and our lived human experiences are intrinsically connected. And I think we can all appreciate the profound impact that technology has had on society, both positive and unfortunately quite negative. As we move towards the future internet, the Web 3.0, the metaverse, it is critical that we invest in a system that has humanity at its core, and is reflective of society's expectations. Not just government, not just the tech industry, but society's expectations about including safety and accountability. Transparency builds trust. We need to also continue harnessing the best of humanity and innovation, while also freeing ourselves of the harms and the biases that are embedded in our current online environment. We cannot wait until the new technology has already arrived to shape the norms and expectations of government, of industry and society as a whole. The time to reset that conversation is now. A core focus of mine is the online sexual exploitation and abuse of children. I would really like to take a moment just to acknowledge every single person that plays a role in this space, from investigators to content moderators, health services, and everyone in between. It is taxing, it is confronting, and it's very unrelenting work. It's just got very loud. So everyone that works in this space, thank you for doing what you do and just being so resilient and showing up to work every day. It is tough. And you know, in fighting this crime, to effectively fight this particular type of crime, we have to continue to build cooperation across all disciplines. We must be willing to operate in a transparent and an open way. It is a whole of society problem that requires a whole of society response. As my law enforcement colleagues often say, it takes a network to defeat a network, and we need all disciplines in that network. I hope you enjoy hearing from our amazing panelists as they share with us how they approach youth tech and wellbeing. We also have, as David said, a whiteboard where people can share resources. We also have the online document. This event is such a fantastic opportunity to share knowledge, so I really encourage you all to explore and to use those tools. Thank you, and I'll hand over to David.
All right, thank you, Alana. And thank you to the Australian Embassy. Could we give them a round of applause for hosting us? If it wasn't for the Australian Embassy, we would be hosting this in my apartment in Manhattan. It was just quite small, so it would be very, very close quarters with everyone. But my name is David Ryan Polgar, based in New York City, where the nonprofit that I started in 2018 is based, called All Tech is Human. The name actually means a lot, in the sense that technology doesn't fall from the heavens our history affects our future, and our future is not predetermined. Look around at everybody who traveled from near and far. This is our tech future. Our tech future is co-created. And that's a lot of what we try to do with myself and other colleagues. Got my colleague Kate in the back. If you want to raise your hand, Kate Gwent. So what we're trying to do at All Tech is Human is connect and expand this nascent responsible tech space. What we've noticed is when we take a topic like youth, tech, and well-being, it's a massive problem. There's not actually a tech fix. We need to put a full underline to that. There's not a quick fix to this. And there's actually, like a lot of things in our democracy, there's trade-offs around safety and privacy. There's different norms of behavior all across the globe, whether you're in Australia or in America or Canada or France or the UK. That affects what you think we should do. So a lot of what we're trying to do today is come together to say, if we're going to co-create a tech future that's in the public interest, then we need to actually have the public involved to understand what are these community values. So for something like youth and tech and well-being, when I was sitting on the train this morning coming to DC, I was reflecting on a piece in the Times recently by Ezra Klein, where, to kind of paraphrase, he kind of said, well, one of the problems of a lot of technologists is they don't actually take technology seriously enough. And what we mean by that is technology is not just a tool. Anybody who says that, please send them my way, because I want to talk to them, because your phone or social media, let's say, it's not a tool, it's not neutral. It's affecting us, and we're affecting it as part of an ecosystem. So the future of technology is the future of democracy and the future of the human condition. That's a big deal. And as said earlier, we should give each other kind of a round of applause in the sense that this is not easy work. It's a lot easier to throw up your hands and say, well, tech's just a tool and nothing we can do about it. Let's just go into the future and see how it works out. Well, I will say, tech has not worked out the way a lot of us thought about it. In my own background, I'm aged enough to remember the optimism of technology, where we thought that the very closeness of communities would bring us together, would be this kumbaya moment, and that the very access to knowledge would cause an elevation of thought. But here we are in 2022, when misinformation and disinformation, and especially younger generation, Gen Z, really suffering. That's why we're here. We're here because we care enough about where we're headed, and also have the agency behind the fact that we're the ones cultivating the future, right? So without further ado, let's bring up our esteemed panel. So we're just gonna get started here in a little bit. We're gonna have a half an hour conversation, and what we really wanna do is incite in everyone here ideas and moments of collaboration. Again, the main part, one of the reasons why I felt motivated for All Tech is Human is because I realized we don't lack imagination, we don't lack quality people, we don't lack incredible organizations and people that are giving their life to this. What we do struggle with, though, is a collaborative environment where we build on the shoulders of giants, where we build on each other's knowledge, where we find areas to actually move forward in a path that recognizes these trade-offs, and that builds on our inherent values. So again, without further ado, let's bring up our panel.